All right. Okay. Hey, this is Steve. And Mark. We're here again on our Thursday. We have the extreme pleasure today to be with our CEO, the co-founder of the company, Real, Tamir. I tell you, it's been just a huge week for us here. So let's talk about that and see, talk about where we're going with the company.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Steve and Mark. Yeah, it's been an exciting week. We celebrated 10,000 agents who joined Real, which is a huge milestone for us. Up to about a year ago, nobody knew who we were, but it's been a journey that we started about 9.5 years ago, and it was just great to celebrate this amazing milestone with all of our agents. And the best part is that we're just getting started. The momentum is here, and more agents are joining us. So I think that we will be celebrating more and more milestones in the near future, which is great. It's great to be in such a positive momentum when the market isn't so great. And it's just great to be growing and delivering value to our agents and seeing the community grow.
And I think sometimes when the market has changed a little bit like it has, it's a softer market. I think that's a good way to describe it. It's not gloom and doom. It's not red hot. It's just a little bit of a softer market. And I think that for me and my team, the financial model that we have in place just makes so much more sense.
100%. And, we got used to a super hot market in recent years. And I think that maybe this market isn't softer. Maybe it's just normal. And I think that we kind of lost track of what's normal. But I think that it's a natural process that is happening in the market, and the market is correcting itself after a few years of super hot and irrational market. And I think that in a historic perspective, what's happening now is actually a good thing. But going back to our model, we started talking about the market shifting. I think it was in March of 2022, or maybe even a little bit before that. And the first thing that we advised all of our agents was, look at your expenses. This is the only thing you can control now. And one of the biggest expenses is how much you pay to your brokerage as an individual agent or as a team. And I think that this is one of the advantages that we have currently, is the fact that we offer such an attractive commission split and very low fees that it just makes us a much better alternative, especially in times like these when agents need to pay more attention to their expenses.
Yeah, Tamir, to that point, despite that, it seems even when that message is given and delivered to other agents out there that are paying these exorbitant fees, that the penny doesn't drop, and they don't actually understand that they should reduce their costs. They say, I'm happy where I am. I've been there for the last 5, 10, 15 years. There's no need to change. How do you overcome that objection?
It's a good question. And I think that, we are all humans and we don't like change. So even if we understand that we need to change something, it takes a little bit of time. And very often we only make the change when it's inevitable and we have to do it, not when it's convenient or when it's needed. It's just when it's urgent to make it. So I think that it has to do with a few things. It has to do with the fact that people need to really understand what's going on and get adjusted to this new reality, and it takes a few months. It's also connected to the fact that it's easier to join or switch to a more recognized brand, and I think that we are getting more and more recognized. So a year ago, it was much more difficult than joining today, when more and more people know us. You also you have access to more people who join us, so you can have those conversations and ask people about their experiences. So I think it's a natural evolution of a brand and of a company that becomes an established brand and an established player. And I think it'll just get easier for agents to say, okay, we look at all of the alternatives. We have this company, and Real is one of the, top 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just a process that's happening, and it's now accelerating because of the market softening or changing.
So on that note about acceleration, now that you've reached this milestone of 10,000, do you think that the acceleration is going to be exponential now, because we have got the masses behind us? So people joining, that joining rate will even increase faster.
I think we have to add a disclaimer here. Real was never focused on number of agents. This was not the North Star for the company. We wanted to make sure that we provide value to our agents, and we believe that if you provide sufficient value, then people will follow you. So we are focused on building value and building opportunities for our agents. I believe that our model is such that on one hand, we are building this model as a company, but also we rely on our agents for attracting their friends. So we do not spend marketing dollars on Google and Facebook. So I think that the more agents join us, the more potential there is for others to join. So what we have seen in recent months is that, yes, there is an acceleration in the number of agents that are joining. But honestly, I know we will get to tens of thousands of agents and maybe eventually to 100,000 agents. And it doesn't matter if it'll take us 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. I think that what matters is what are we building in the meantime, and are we building a sustainable business that really and truly changes lives in the industry? And this should be the focus. And if this is the focus, then more and more people eventually will want to join.
Yeah, right. And I'll go back and kind of piggyback on a couple of things. One, I did all my numbers based on what was taking place in 2018, 2019, this year. I think that was a more realistic thing to look at. That, you hear me, if you've ever seen this, I always talk about a fake market that existed through 2020 and 2022. It just really wasn't reasonable for what happened. And that's where it is. I would say also, when you talked about change, I've been a broker now I've been an agent for 29 years, and I've been a broker for about 24. As I brought people over into companies, I always say that the only people that like change, the only person that begs for it is a dirty, wet baby. That everybody else will resist it, but it's kind of true, right? And I'll tell you, so this week I have been promoted into the broker for Georgia. Couldn't be more excited to do it. I will tell you what else is exciting. I actually sent this text to you. This is the third company I've been with that has gone to 10,000 agents, but it's the best feeling 10,000 agent jump that I've ever been involved with in almost 30 years. So I thank you for that, because it's exciting. And that was what I put on somebody's post the other day. They were asking us about our cap and about this and that. And I said, hey, look, we're not trying to be the cheapest. We're trying to be the best. We want to be the best brokerage for the agent. That's the goal. And if that happens to get 100,000 people, great. But we want to be the best.
And thank you for saying all that. I think we have to pause for a second and acknowledge the fact that only very few teams in the industry have ever achieved 10,000 agents. And I'm not talking about franchises. Franchises is a different story, but independent brokerages, there are just, I don't know, currently a handful of brokerages that actually have over 10,000 agents. So this is a huge milestone. And yes, it does feel great, because we truly feel like a family, like a huge team working together, and everybody understands that this is only the beginning. So it's not, it's not the end of the road. This is just the beginning. And I think that this is what gets everybody fired up.
And you say that. And so I was able to join right in front of San Antonio. And I got to go to San Antonio, and I will tell you that's where I really felt the breath of fresh air the greatest. Was that the feel of that room was just like you said, it was family. It's everybody just wanting to help you, and you go to some companies that they want to help you, but never help you be better than they are. I never got that feeling in there. I got that feeling in there that everyone wanted to help you. And if you became better than they are, great. We all benefit from it. That I think was my biggest takeaway from San Antonio.
And I share the same feeling and thought. I think that it comes from two places. One is the DNA of the company and the people that are joining the company. And second, the fact that the vast majority of the agents are shareholders in the company. So your success is my success because I'm a shareholder in your success as well. So that creates a very special alignment of interests that doesn't exist in 99% of the other companies. And I think that contributes to the overall feeling and the special DNA that's being built here.
Yeah. Steve, it was about a year ago that I unfortunately had to stop working as I was waiting for my legal status to change to be able to legally work. And it was last year, August or so, that I was able to stop working again. And my license was inactive with the Georgia Real Estate Commission. And I phoned Steve. I met Steve about 7 years ago, 6 years ago. Yeah. And I said, Steve, what are you doing? And Steve said he was with another broker at the time.
Yeah.
And he said, Mark, I'm joining Real.
Yeah.
And I said, who's Real? So I was sitting in my truck in front of my home, Tamir, and I quickly went online, looked at the site, and I said, do you trust this, Steve? He said, man, I'm going to be there in September. Join. And in my truck, pulled out my wallet, pulled out my credit card. I joined on my phone, and it was a seamless process.
Yeah.
And my license was transferred within the nearly the same day. And when I actually got online and got all the introductions on what tools to load, I became part of the family in the metaverse, if you want to call it, immediately. And I think that's quite unique, is that when someone joins and they get in, they all of a sudden are exposed to the nationwide Real.
There are so many connections being built and available to you as soon as you join. Yes, it's pretty incredible. But something that you said caught my attention. I think that a year ago, probably 80 or 90% of the agents in the country have never heard about Real. And this is starting to change. I think that now still probably half of the agents in the country have never heard about us, which means that there is so much potential for us to grow. But I think that, when you get to a certain scale or size, and when there's sufficient presence in different markets, then it's inevitable that more and more people will get to know you. And I think that 10,000 agents is kind of the milestone that signifies that, okay, we are becoming one of the largest players. I don't know if you have seen the Real Trends report that was released, I think it was last week. We are, in 2022, we were number 11 in the country for transaction sites. So, based on our current transaction volume, we are probably number 9 or 8. And I believe that we will finish 2023 anywhere between 6 to 8. So it's just becoming very difficult to ignore us.
Yeah.
Right. Which is a good thing.
Yes. And it's exciting for me. I mean, it really is. I mean, I love seeing this company grow. I love listening to you tell the story. I'll tell you, in Atlanta, when I listened to you talk about, where Real was, where it is, how you got to where it was, I said this is Real Brokerage is that man's baby, and this company will never fail because he owns it like a baby.
100%. People got to know us about a year ago, but prior to that year, there were about 8 or 8.5 years of grinding and pushing forward and persevering. Very difficult times, I must say, but we never stopped believing. It's great to see all of the momentum right now, and maybe we can even call it the beginning of a success. But it wasn't like that all the time. It was super difficult. Very difficult to raise money, very difficult to retain employees. I had to lay off the entire team 3 times. So I'll tell you a story. Back in 2019, we ran out of money, and we downsized the company to 8 people. 8 people. We had, 700 agents back then, or 500, something in that range. We were just almost dying. And we went back to our investors and we raised a little bit of money at a very low valuation, so 90% lower than the previous valuation. So we were, we were not a success story. So I think that all of those things are helping us remain very clear as to what we want to build and how we want to build it, and stay humble and just focus on the right things, and also not spend money on things that you shouldn't spend them. I'm carrying a lot of scars from those years. And I think that all in all, it's been an amazing journey. And it's great to be at that point where you don't need to really care or worry anymore about money, because we are cash flow positive. We are very close to profitability. So it's just a different phase in the company's life, but we couldn't have gotten here without going through those very difficult years. I think that this is what really built us.
Yeah. So you talk about money and investing money wisely within the business on things that are necessary because you've learned from mistakes, or you've tried and dabbled in things and that wasn't great. So what is your vision in terms of where you want to focus the efforts of the business?
I think that we were always very, very clear in terms of our technology focus on building things that will help the agents streamline their businesses and also automate the back office of the brokerage. So those were the two main focuses. And we continue to focus on those two. This is what makes us one of, or probably the most efficient brokerage in America. We are a very small team catering to a lot of agents and processing a lot of transactions. Our transaction team consists of 7 people, and last year we closed close to 40,000 transactions, and we haven't grown that team in about 2 years. So we are extremely efficient, and we are always looking for ways to streamline the processes for our agents as well, mainly focusing on transactions. At the same time, I think that if you care about the agents, you also have to care about the agents' clients and make sure that the agents themselves can offer some sort of a differentiation of service to their clients. And this is why we are now trying to build something that will be placed in the hands of our agents' clients and will help them go through a much smoother, faster, more convenient and more transparent transaction, which we believe is the future for the industry. So we believe that agents are here to stay and agents should remain in the center of the transaction. But we also believe that technology can facilitate or provide a different type of experience, a much better experience. So we're trying to combine the human element and the technology element. And for me, that's the future.
Right. Yeah, I do agree. On the one hand, we've got us as agents interacting with clients. However, they are not necessarily incorporated into the technology stack, our clients. There's always some third party or external application or tools that clients are potentially using that we don't have visibility of. And there's that disconnect. And not only during the transaction, but also post a transaction or an engagement and the relationship that you developed. I think that is important, that there's some form of continuity where we can leverage technology. So on technology, I know you've got a question. Just a quick one to me. What's your whole view about this artificial intelligence wave? Do you see real incorporating AI? It doesn't matter whether it's BAR or ChatGPT or whatever it is. Do you foresee AI playing an important role in real?
100%. And I don't know if this answer actually surprises you, but I'll give you 2 examples. One, when it comes to our support, about 80% of our support tickets are repetitive. It's about agents asking questions that, we know exactly what those questions are, but we need a human to actually reply or answer. So I think that artificial intelligence can come into play there. Second thing, which, by the way, we are now working on all of this. So it's not a dream. Those are things that are being implemented. Second thing, we are a non-brick and mortar brokerage, and agents are used to going into the office and having, I don't know, the front desk person, and if they need anything, they ask that person, hey, where do I find this? How do I contact this person? What time is that meeting? They're used to contacting someone who sits in the office and getting answers. And we think that there's a way to put that person in the app. So you will have a concierge, a personal assistant on the app. You will push a button and just ask a question the same way you ask the question in the front desk, and you will get the answer. So those are things that we are now working on. And I believe that, again, those will be game changers for the agents because it will help us provide a smoother and faster support and overall experience.
So on that point, and this will be my last question regarding technology, because I thoroughly enjoy.
He's a 6'4" geek. Yeah.
Technology.
Former rugby nerd.
Yeah, I love technology. You know, I've been using all the AI tools for my own personal use and for business. When it comes to technology and the stack and the platform, I see a lot of businesses, and one of the challenges, my background is actually corporate, working for the likes of Oracle, ERP, and selling middleware and databases. And one of the big challenges that businesses face is disparate systems. Point number one. Point number two is a lot of businesses try and do in-house development. And then the question begs itself, are they a software development house or what are they? So my question really is, how are you going to try and bring all these systems together? And two, is this going to be in-house development, or is it going to be outsourced, or even by acquisition?
It's a pretty amazing question, to be honest, because this is something that we've been dealing with from the very beginning. Are we building? Are we buying? How are we going to integrate? Should we rely on third-party products? Are they good enough? And I think that what we realized is that our core technology should be built in-house. At the same time, there are some other things that are somewhat of a commodity and more top of funnel that we can outsource. So for example, everything that has to do with maybe property search or lead gen or CRM, those are things that I don't think we have any advantage in building. Those things are a commodity. Agents can go and find it somewhere else. All of the things that are more down the funnel in the transaction itself, those are the things that we want to build and we want to own. And we do that through in-house development and through acquisitions. Up to that point, we acquired 3 companies. One was a tech company. The second was a tech company in the title space. The third was a lender. So we truly believe in acquisitions, and we believe in acquiring talented teams that know how to or understand real estate generally. But I think that this is one of the hurdles for most real estate related tech companies, the fact that everything is so fragmented, and you really need deep expertise. And there are so many different alternatives and different systems out there. And there's no one size fits all. Like if you want something to work, you probably have to develop it by yourself, but you have to really choose what you want to develop.
Right. And I will say that, a lot of companies say that they're a tech company, but we are proprietary. Most other tech companies have just white gloved it. The reason that is there is top of the game, good as you get.
Right.
And it just gets better every single day. Pritesh,
Yep.
His whole group over there. For me, you got to remember, I've seen 30 years of this. I've seen it where contracts were 2 pages. We used a real key and we had a map book. So, to see a system like this that just, you go one place and you get every single thing you need right there. It's not going to this site, this site, this site. Everything's in one, and I can do everything on my phone. That's the other big thing for me, because I'm always moving.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Nobody else has it.
No, and this, I don't think people understand how good that really is.
Yeah.
That one piece is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. I just enjoy the quick visibility of seeing where I am.
The transparency.
The transparency of the transaction. We do this current transaction, and it's so refreshing. My past brokerage, I just did not have that visibility. It was either in a file, literally paper, or it was a couple of phone calls, or it was emailing to support to understand where I am in the transaction. And here, as it's going through the checklist, it's live to some degree. Like you sent me the other day I forgot to get a signature in there, and we were able to resolve things very quickly. So that's really cool. And the best part is that I can do it from my phone. And there are other companies that are offering that, but
not this slick.
But this was really slick. Yeah,
not
smooth,
this slick.
And there was no glitch. There wasn't a blue screen, a little circle. But can I just change the subject very quickly?
Absolutely, because we're getting kind of close to the end.
Yeah.
Let me just text. I have a call with one of our board members, so I'm just going to text him that I'm a little bit late.
2 minutes. Okay. 2 minutes, we're done.
Yeah. And it's. Have you texted?
Yeah.
Okay, so give us a typical day in the life of Tamir.
And then we'll sum up our day
Wow.
right there.
Yeah, typical life.
You know what? I've never been asked that, but I have 5 kids. So I wake up early in the morning. I get them ready to school. I take them to school, to kindergarten, and all of that. I go back home. I go over as soon as I open my eyes in bed, I go over emails, and then I get the kids prepared. Then I go back home, start working. Typically, in a day, I would have anywhere between 5 and 12 Zoom calls, and then a ton of emails. I think that if you're asking me what I'm spending my time on is agents, so conversations with agents, product, operations, our investor relations efforts. So we are spending a lot of time talking to investors and analysts. And just HR, taking care of our own team. So I would say that this is my main focus. I probably get off work at night. So yeah. So then it's a little bit of time with Marina, my amazing wife.
And then what about you to keep yourself fit, healthy, in tune with what's happening? What about you? Because, if you're not here, then that's a problem. So what about you?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I ride bicycles and I surf.
You do?
So I ride bicycles 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah. Wow. I haven't seen a picture of that. You got to get a GoPro on the front of your board there. Do you longboard or shortboard?
No, I shortboard. Yeah, I'm still considering myself young enough to shortboard, but
I started longboarding in about 1990, and I haven't looked back.
Got it. Well, yeah, I do have a fun board, but I'm typically on a short.
Yeah. Right. Well, hey, I cannot thank you enough. We know you got other stuff to do. Any parting words?
No, just thank you for having me. And if any real agents are listening to us or watching us, thank you very much for being a part of Real. I am just so grateful. I'm pitching myself every day. I cannot believe that this is happening. And I just want to thank everybody. I
want to thank you. It's an opportunity for me, that I've grabbed a hold of. I cannot be more excited. My Lori, my lady, she tells me all the time that I am a different person today. I have more energy. I'm more enthusiastic than I've been in 5-10 years. So, and we've been together for 10 years. So probably about 5 years. She said that the energy levels through the roof. And it's exciting.
That's amazing.
So thank you very much, man. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks, Mark.